Hello and welcome again to Redacted Nuisance, that weird little art project, 10, 12, 15 minutes of one take recordings that are then saved and put up straight away without being listened back to or edited in any shape or form. Not for clarity, not for removing ums, nothing like that. The lowest production values you will ever find. Hey, I'm Dr. J, use they as a pronoun. I identify as a troublemaker and a hashtag queer nuisance, so I call this podcast Redacted Nuisance, because if I called it Queer Nuisance, you'd never be able to find it and it would be hidden on most of Tinternet. So I've parkoured my way around that by being obvious that it is redacted. So welcome to Redacted Nuisance. Like I said, record this all in one take, generally spend an evening doing 3 or 4 of them, post them up, and that's my week. That's a couple of weeks done. It goes out about once a week, more or less, and that's about it. So this is part 2. So part 1 was about how I lost 20 kilos. Part 2 is like, what the fuck do you do when you lose 20 kilos? That is a fifth of my body weight, 20%. First off, your shape changes dramatically. I have gone from being a bear to being not quite a twink. Somebody said I'm a twunk. There is still some bare belly to go, and that's something that I'm working on. Getting rid of the last bits of the visceral fat around my center organs, because that will make me healthier. Why did I lose the weight? Actually, that's an important quick thing. I didn't lose the weight for any aesthetes or anything like that, or to regain a sense of me and my body, or to fit into any ideal. I lost the weight simply because I have type 2 diabetes, and this was a way of seeing if we could get it a bit more under control. The answer is metabolisms be whack. Metabolisms do some crazy things. Even if you lose the weight and you start to shift the way that your metabolism balances, from balancing around fat to balancing around muscle, it's still going to take some time before it settles down and decides what it's going to do. And also, I also don't sense hunger anymore, because in the way that I lost weight, my hunger hormone and my reactivity to it got fucked. There is no other way of describing it. It's basically fucking fucked. So I don't know quite when I'm full, although I do feel full and I will stop eating quite quickly. I also don't know when I'm hungry. I have to use a blood sugar monitor or reminders to eat, and that's just so fucking ridiculous, because I used to be one of those people who was always hungry and always wanted food and could always snack and eat, whereas now it's like friends will say, when did you last eat? And we'll be like 8-9 hours ago, and it'll be like, yeah, no wonder you're not doing so well. Have a snack. Do you have any snacks on you? Please go eat some food, because I will just have literally forgotten that my body needs food, and forgotten when I last ate. And it's actually useful that I'm having to track all of my calorie intake at the moment, because otherwise I would have no idea when I last ate. It's very weird. That's a very weird concept to deal with. And I recognise that some people who go on the different Ozempics and Wegovy's and things like that potentially have a similar reaction, where you literally have no idea. It's a bit like being a bit lost. One of the other things that I'm struggling with is I get cold. Like, before, I had a decent amount of subcutaneous fat. I was a bear. I was a lovely chubby little bear. I now have to understand this concept of, it is cold. You've just swum. You need to have more than just a t-shirt on. You need to have more than just a t-shirt and a light sweatshirt. You need to bring warm clothing with you when you go swimming. You need to have warm clothing to walk home from the gym. If you go out at night, you might need to have 2 jumpers or a jumper and a jacket, or a jumper and a sweatshirt or something like that. I have never felt so cold as I have over the last couple of weeks, and I know that we aren't really hitting winter properly yet, and it is horrible. How do people survive this? I literally don't know. My body does not know how to do warmth because it never had to. It was just warm. The other thing is that my mental health and me and my body seem to quite like exercise. Like a lot of exercise. Like a ridiculous a lot of exercise. Like 2 hours a day kind of craziness. Like go to the gym in the evening and do 2 classes, not just one. Like go rowing at lunchtime because I can now use a rowing machine. And then do a class in the evening because I've got the time. And that's insane levels of exercise and fitness, which I'm also realizing that I am still losing a lot of subcutaneous and visceral fat, and my body shape is continuing to change, and I'm putting on muscle as much as I can. Now, postmenopausal person, even though I'm on the tiny little old lady, inverted commas, amounts of tea, putting on muscle when you're postmenopausal is incredibly difficult. Yet I seem to be doing it. So yay, go body, you're doing something. I can do crazy things that I never used to be able to do. Even like I'm back to doing things that I used to do as a teenager. Like walking for 90 minutes to get to somewhere and going to a show and then walking 90 minutes home and not thinking anything of it. Like, it's just like, yeah, I'll walk home from here. I went to an aquarobics class the other Sunday, caught the bus up there. The buses were a bit messed up on the way home, so I just walked the hour or so home and didn't even blink twice. I haven't done that since I was in my late teens, early 20s. And I'm doing that now in London with its wonderful air quality, and a busted the busted ankle and leg that doesn't quite work. It's just insane and it's bonkers, and it's also really difficult to parse. Everyone's like, oh, how does it feel? And I'm like, I have no idea of what this body is and what it can do and what I should be doing with it and what I shouldn't be doing with it. You know, I can, I have to deal with being cold, but I can also deal with, I will just walk halfway across London for commute, and not get out of breath and not get tired and not feel sore about it and not hurt. This is weird. I'm enjoying moving. Like, I go to, one of the reasons I do aquarobics, actually, here's a thing, and I'm just going to recommend it if you're postmenopausal and you have joint problems, or you're in any way have joint problems, and you don't mind being in a pool of people, go and do some aquarobics if you can. If you can find a class, or do it. You don't need to be able to swim to do it. You don't need to put your head underwater. You can just bounce around in the water. And one of the interesting things that I've found is it allows me to do a lot of functional movements that I'm not able to do out of the water because I don't have the balance or the strength, so I can't jump. And I can jump up, I cannot land safely. If I land, I'm likely just to go flying in any one of 8 or 10 random directions, including falling and collapsing, because my ankle may or may not catch me when I land and may just redirect me in any one of 8 random directions, or fall down, or just stop. Just allow me just to stop there where I am. very very unstable ankle. Um, and so I tend not to jump if I'm doing anything. But in the water, I can jump. I can bounce around like a crazy thing. I can do all of these movements that are absolutely impossible for me, and that's given me a lot better strength in my leg because I've done these movements that it's not done for ages, and it's slowly building up some strength. I'm very aware that I will never have enough strength to do some of that stuff. But I have more strength than I did, and that more strength is allowing me to continue to do things like walk up and down stairs easily, or easier, to amble across town. Ambling to Waterloo from my house is supposedly 20 minutes according to Google, according to Apple Maps. I do it in under 15 because I'm queer and I'm walking in London. But it's all of those things you just somehow do. And it's very weird. And, yeah, I have a body that can do stuff. And I don't get why I was taught to hate this body back when it used to be like this when I was a teenager. And when I was a young kid, there was stuff I was taught that said, you've got to hate this body. You've got to not love it. And I'm like, oh my God, this body is amazing. Look at what it can do. It can lift things. It can move things. It can do push-ups. So I've gone from not being able to do, so 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I was not able to do a squat. I was able to do a squat, but I had to have a ball behind me and hold on to a stick, and it was very painful. And if I did 5 to 10 in a set, that was amazing. And if I managed to do 3 sets, that was a massive achievement. As part of my HIIT class the other day, I did 3 sets of 45 seconds of squats. I can now do push-ups. I can now do full body push-ups. I can't get very low, but every time I do them, I'm getting lower and lower and better. I can plank easily for 45 seconds. I can plank and shoulder tap kind of for 45 seconds. But that's an impressive feat for this body. And I'm not saying that to be like, haha, I can do it and you can't. I'm saying that I started off at 0. I started off at 0 and I somehow managed to get to 1, doing 1 rep of these things. And this is not like if you can do 1 rep of this, you can do 10 of this, and you can do da 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 da, and you can build up to the thing. No, it is about just trying. Figure it out. Have a go. Have a go with support. I'm very lucky. I'm bougie enough that I can afford a personal trainer, and my personal trainer has been amazing. He spends his time just giving me good, positive feedback, going, you're doing well, you've done this, look at this, look how strong you are, look how amazing you are, look at the things that you've lifted, look at what you've been able to do today. This is so great. And that is sometimes just what you need. Just that positive encouragement. So find someone who'll give you that positive encouragement towards moving things, lifting things, picking things up. Although, fuck burpees. Burpees, no, just nobody can ever love a burpee. Of all of the workout movements, burpees are evil and just horrible, and nobody likes them. Although I did see somebody voluntarily doing burpees today, and I'm like, this everything, rule 34. Rule 34. For everything there is a porn, and whatever, I'm never going to yuck on somebody's yum. Never going to yuck on somebody's yum. But honestly, anyone who loves burpees, ugh.